Good morning, welcome to the channel, Retired Don't Give Up. Today's motorcycle wash day. Well, it's been quite a while since I've washed the motorcycle. A lot of things have happened in the last month. Of course, you all know that we took our trip to Kolipi. And again, we got our marriage visa, although we still have to go back on the 2nd of May to get that final stamp in the passport, but that's coming quickly. So yeah, it's been a while since I washed the motorcycle, and it really shows. Today's video is going to be about life and death in Thailand. May be interesting to some, but I've lost a couple of friends this last month, and we're going to have a little chat about it while I wash the bike. So let's get at it. So early in April, my friend Pete from Discovering Thailand, well, he had a motorcycle accident. I had seen him, I don't know, maybe a week before the accident. We had lunch at Route 66, and I was quite surprised to hear. I mean, he did a short, he was in the hospital for a week, and the insurance from his rental motorcycle covered a week of stay in the hospital, and he did a little short live show from the hospital. And of course, that's how most of us found out that he had a motorcycle accident. Broke his collarbone badly and broke several ribs. Now, shortly after his little live show, I talked to him. And he couldn't remember what happened. So, there's pictures of them trying to stabilize him on the side of the road. Whether or not he hit some gravel, we just don't know. We just don't know. And but he had an accident. Now he had his motorcycle pants, which is a vital gear, but he didn't own a jacket, like a motorcycle jacket. So that might have helped. It's hard to say. Not long afterwards, like the week, he was then released from the hospital because he did another live show, and from his condo. And I was quite surprised, actually taken back that they let him out of the hospital. But unfortunately, the insurance on his motorcycle only covered 1 week in a government-funded hospital. And so after the week, he went home. Now, he did the live show. He was in pain. He was in pain during the live show. You could tell. But his spirits were good. And again, he couldn't specify what exactly had happened. So after the live show, I phoned him again. Pete, what's going on? Why aren't you still in the hospital? And then he told me that the insurance only covers for the 1 week. And we had talked about getting together. We had talked about doing a live show together. And I told him, okay, well, listen, you take care. We'll talk soon. Well, about 2 days later, I get a phone call from his phone. I'm in Chiang Mai with my actually having lunch with a subscriber, and well, the person on the other end of the line was not Pete. Now, he asked me, he said, are you related to Pete? I said, no, we're friends. And he said, well, you're the last number on that he called, that on the phone. So I said, well, is he all right? He said, well, no, he's not. He's non-responsive. That's all he said. Didn't tell me he had passed away. He just said he was non-responsive. I mean, that certainly sounded, but at any rate, I had to do a little bit of investigating, and indeed, he passed away between the time he did the live show and the time I talked to him last, and that time that I got that phone call. Now, again, we don't have any definitive answers as to what happened. Was it complications from the accident? Again, I can't really tell you anything about it because I just don't know. The gentleman wanted to know if I had contact to his sister in Australia, which I didn't. They did contact his sister, and his sister did come from Australia, and they had a memorial on the 11th of April. I had hoped to be there, but I was still flying back from Kolipi, and by the time I got back, it was too late. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We landed at 2 o'clock. I had to get the car. It was at a place getting a stereo installed, and by the time I could have gone there, and it was on the north side of Chiang Mai. It would have been 40 minutes just to get there. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it, which was really disappointing. Fortunately, Wayne from Walkabout Wayne, who I talked to previously, he got more information, although he said that it was not likely that he could make it because he was going to be out of town. But as it turns out, he did make it, and he did a very good tribute to Pete on his channel. Very good tribute. If you get a chance, it's Walkabout Wayne. Check out that video on the tribute for Pete. Very good. Just last week, here in Pear, I lost another friend. His name was Ivor. Now, he was 83 years old. He'd been living in Pear for almost 15 years with his Thai wife. We would get together sometimes twice a week for coffee, talk. Unfortunately, I didn't know Ivor that well because I'm relatively new in the group. I did visit his home. Katai and I visited, and at any rate, he seemed fine for the longest time. But as all things, when you're in your 80s, something small can make you go downhill pretty quick. And essentially, that's what happened with Ivor. He'd gone in the hospital for a couple of small procedures, and then next thing you know, he was in the hospital again with pneumonia. Then they brought him home, and well, we thought everything was he was on the mend. But then he was back in the hospital in Pear. He slipped into a coma, and unfortunately we lost him at 83 years of age. Oh. So, because he was been in the community for quite some time, and his wife, of course, is a Thai lady. They had a full Thai funeral. For those that don't know, a full Thai funeral usually spans 2 days, 3 days, where he would be at his home. There would be 5 monks would come, and then they would pray, and you could go and visit, and of course you could pay your respects. Now, so that was last Friday, was the actual funeral, and the cremation was on Friday. So I was part of it. As you can see, I'm showing you some pictures. Very respectful Thai funeral. I was quite impressed with the effort. We all made a little contribution to help pay for the funeral, which is the tradition. And we were there for the cremation, as you can see. Now, to my knowledge, Pete had a Christian send-off. Pete was only in Thailand for a little over a year, and he wasn't involved with anyone at the time. So yeah. I would imagine through his sister's wishes, they did a Christian memorial. I know that with me now living here, I have full intention of spending the rest of my life here, and a proper Buddhist burial service will be just fine with me. Hopefully not for a while. Hopefully not for a while. I am 65, but you never know. It could be as simple as a motorcycle accident. And complications, unfortunately, can change your life pretty quick. Going to have to get down on my knees on this one again, if you remember last time. Not fun, but I'll do it. So one of the other things I want to mention, because Ty and I had several conversations about this, because like I say, it can happen. And of course, you're maybe a foreigner here, and depending on how long you've been, if you're married, how long you've been here, one of the things you need to make certain is that anything happens to you, someone has access to your, either your family or has, your next of kin, so they can either, come, make whatever arrangements you need, and so forth. And one other thing, quite often, more people I've talked to are more prepared, but one of the problems is Ivor's wife did not have access to the bank account. And, well, that makes life difficult, especially in the short term. you need to make sure that your wife, in case of an emergency, can access funds, because that can make life very, very difficult. Something to consider. Now, like I say, I've talked with a few of my other foreign friends, and yeah, they've some have taken that into consideration, and some have not. Now, in my case, we just got married, and we're just going through all the process. Now we're going back to Chiang Mai early May to go back to the Canadian consulate, because now that we're legally married, I need to make sure that the Canadian government knows that I'm legally married, because I receive a pension from the Canadian government, and it's set up that if anything were to happen to me, then if you're married, your spouse will get a one-time payment. I believe it's $2,500. And your spouse is entitled to a spousal benefit of $500 a month. Now, doesn't sound like a lot of money, but $500 a month is just under 12,000 baht, and that's forever. So yeah, it's something that should be taken into consideration. So we'll be getting that looked after right away in Chiang Mai. Ooh, artificial knees. Well, there we go. Bike is clean for another day. Okay. That's how easy to put that on. I don't know if the topic is interesting to a lot of you people, but the truth of the matter is, if you're going to come and live in Thailand, there are things you need to be prepared. Another thing is wills. My will last will was when I was in Canada, and so I have to change it. So that's my next thing after going to the Canadian consulate, is to contact a reputable lawyer and to get the will set up. Apparently, Ivor owns a house in England, and he has children in England that refused to come to the funeral. Had lots of time to do that. They had lots of warning that he was not well, for whatever reason. That happens quite often. But of course, now there's a matter of a home that needs to be sold, and the question is, who's it going to go to? Is it going to go to the children, or is it going to go to Ivor's wife? I don't know. That's not for me. A will is an important thing, and it should be a priority if you're going to live here in Thailand. Until next time, bye for now, and remember, don't give up.